The Pearl Awards is designed in Nigeria to reward quoted companies in the capital market that perform veritably and contribute immensely to the growth of the market and economy. And today I have the privilege of interacting with the president of the Pearl Awards, Mr. Taiwo Orekoya. Thank you, sir, for having me.
My great pleasure.
Yeah. Now, you know, in the movie industry globally, there's the Grammys, the Oscars, and in the music, there's the Grammys. And now the Pearl Awards is synonymous with the capital market. Tell us first the origin and the value of these awards to the Nigerian capital market.
Thank you very much. Talking about the origin of the Pearl Awards, it dates back to the year 1994 when we had a program on television called Stock Market This Week. And I was the executive producer of that program. And at that time, we were covering the stock exchange on a daily basis, seeing the trading activities, the facts behind the figures, going on industrial visits and all that. And we realized that, companies were performing and some were outperforming the others. But there was a yearning gap. There was actually no award dedicated to rewarding outstanding performance and excellence. Don't forget, at that time there was what was called the Nigerian Stock Exchange President's Merit Award. But of course that award was to reward orderly conduct of annual general meetings, good presentation of reports and all that. But we felt there was the need to actually create value by rewarding excellence using verifiable indices. And so that was how we came about the Pearl Awards in 1995. The maiden edition held May 27, 1995. That's the origin.
Now, I like what you said, verifiable indices, because the narrative of some awards in Nigeria is that sometimes we tend to just give who you know, people who just want to come and they want to know if they're getting the award pre-hand. So tell us about the methodology and the objectivity of these awards, the value it brings when you look at the indices.
Okay, talking about objectivity and credibility, I think the very basic thing that the Pearl Awards did right from the outset was to have a credible board of governors that would govern the awards right from inception. And today, the board of governors of the Pearl Awards has eminent, credible professionals, first-class experts, both in the capital markets, in the financial world, and generally, I'll start with the chairman of the board, the past Registrar General of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Alhaji Umar Farouk Abdullahi, and we have on the board a past Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, and that's Mr. Wale Adetunji, who doubles as the chairman of the Technical Committee of the Pearl Awards. We have a council member of the Nigerian Stock Exchange on the board, Professor Albert Orji, the current President, Institute of Directors, Mrs. Eniola Fadayomi is also on the board. We have President, Advancement of Shareholders of Nigeria, that's Dr. Umar Farouk, on the board, apart from other eminent, credible, first-class professionals. Past Chairman, Capital Market Registrars Association is also on the board. And so the basic thing first is to have good corporate governance with regards to the awards. Now, secondly, we have the criteria of the awards clearly defined. We currently have 9 indices with which we assess companies based on their performance. And for the purpose of evaluating these companies, we take a look at the annual financial reports audited and submitted at the annual general meetings of the companies. We look at the weekly trading reports on the stock exchange and the daily official lists. And so, having these materials, we now use the 9 indices that include turnover growth, returns on equity, earnings yield, dividends cover, net asset ratio, dividend growth, share price appreciation, profit margin ratio, etc., to assess each and every one of the companies. And then you have in place a research and collation committee of the Central Working Committee of the Pearl Awards that gathers all the relevant data, based on the annual reports, of course, of well over 100 and probably 20, 50 companies that have complied with listing requirements of the stock exchange. These companies must have held their annual general meetings, they must have published their annual reports, and now I haven't analyzed these figures, collated them. The Research and Collation Committee presents its report to the Technical Committee of the Board. And here you have, first-class capital market expert. Dr. Biodun Adedikpe is a member of that committee, well-respected economist. Professor Albert Oji, chaired, of course, like I said, by Mr. Wole Adetunji. And the Technical Committee of the Board reviews the report of the Research and Collation Committee and then makes a presentation to the full Board of Governors. The Board of Governors now reviews the report and then ratifies the companies that duly have emerged as winners of the awards. And again, talking about objectivity, the Pearl Awards does not stop there. In order to underscore our transparency, at the awards night, we present publicly the facts and figures of how the winners emerged in a publication called the Nigerian Stock Market Annual, published annually since 1995. And of course, these figures are there with graphs, with, all the points clearly made. And I think, to the credit of the Pearl Awards, over 19 years, the companies that have been rewarded have been duly found to have qualified to be rewarded. And that is the essence of objectivity.
Now, looking at the names of the people you mentioned, they're notable names, credible people who we know have contributed to the growth of the market. That's interesting concerning the board you have and the various rigorous process you take them through. That puts a uniqueness to the Pearl Awards. Now let's look at the categories. How many categories do we have in this award? Okay,
we have 3 main competitive categories of the awards. And these are the Sectoral Leadership Awards category, where companies within a sector are assessed using the 9 indices that I mentioned earlier on. And then each of these companies garner points ranging from 3 to 1, and then the aggregate scores of the companies having utilized the 9 indices is what now determine the winner and the nominees for the awards. The first 3 companies are nominated, and until the awards night, that we know who or which company is the sectoral leader for that particular sector. For this year, for example, we will be having 13 sectors that have qualified to be assessed for 2014 Pearl Awards.
Has it been 13 over the years, or is just
the additional last year it was 12.
Okay, so
this year is 13. And the reason why is there is, for a sector to actually qualify, you must have a minimum number of companies that have complied with listing requirements and have provided their annual reports, held their annual general meetings. If, for example, you have only 2 companies in a sector that have complied, then there will be no leader, there will be no follower. If you have just 3 companies, of course, that makes it even a little bit tighter. So that's why it depends on the sectors haven't fulfilled that by the companies in that sector being able to meet their own obligations. That's 1. 2, the second category is the Market Excellence category of the awards. And the Market Excellence category is the category where all the companies in the market are assessed on each of the indices. For example, you have all the about probably 120, probably 150 companies that have met, been able to be assessed for the awards for this year, have been evaluated on the basis of turnover growth, for the year. And so the percentages are considered, for each of these companies, and these are now scored on the basis of 10 down to 1 point. That is, the company that scores highest scores 10 points on market excellence. And then so you have all the companies on the market assessed for turnover growth, for share price appreciation, for dividend yield, earnings yield, returns on equity, etc., etc. And so, the three companies that garner 10 points, 9 points, and 8 points are the nominees for the market excellence category. And then at the awards night, the winner would emerge. Now, the third category of the awards is the overall highest award, and that is the pearl of the Nigerian stock market. Now, the pearl of the Nigerian stock market emerges, whereby the sectoral leaders compete based on the points they garner on market excellence. The aggregate of points scored. Don't forget, for market excellence, each of them, for each award, you have 10 points, 9, 8, down to 1 point. So each of these companies now, aggregate points on market excellence. But again, a company, for example, might win a good number of points on market excellence if it has not emerged as its sectoral leader, cannot, for example, be nominated for the overall highest award. Because first, you must lead your sector through the market, and then compete in the market, and then garner the highest aggregate scores on the market excellence, and before you can emerge. So it's actually a rigorous exercise, emerging as the overall highest award winner. And of course, in the 19-year history of the Pearl Awards, only 2 companies have won it twice. Nigerian Breweries won it twice. Dangote Cement has won it twice. However, Dangote Cement PLC is the only company that has made history by winning it back-to-back, in 2012 and 2013. The question is, who wins it in 2014? We'll get to know on Sunday.
Thank you, Mr. Taiwo Orekoya and the Pearl Awards team, for giving yourself and your platform to promote excellence in the capital market. And we're trusting that this 19th edition would be one of fun and excitement, and winners will be spot on to give their best to the growth of the market and economy. Thank you once again, Mr. Taiwo Orekoya, for your time.
Thank you so very much.